Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday evening. We're back with another massive show to bring you guys tonight. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. On the show tonight, we are going to be talking and reacting to a story that broke earlier on today saying that Victor Lindelof is apparently of interest to multiple clubs in Saudi Arabia. We'll be going into that. Also going into Jeremy Frimpong. We've been linked to him by 2 or 3 different people today, Fabrizio Romano, Samuel Luckhurst, a couple of others as well. So we'll be talking about Jeremy Frimpong and about the potential of bringing him in the summer. Also talking a little bit about the game yesterday and the games coming up, as well as some other just general transfer news as well. As always, I invite you to have your say on all things in the comment section below. You can let me know whether you think Lindelof should be sold in the summer, and also let me know whether Jeremy Frimpong should be someone we're looking at in the summer window. Right, let's get straight on into it then. Let's start off with the story about Victor Lindelof. So this story broke about 2 or 3 hours ago. It's come out from 2 or 3 different journalists in the UK today, saying that Victor Lindelof is now likely to leave Manchester United in the summer and move to Saudi Arabia, where he has many offers on the table. So Victor Lindelof, obviously surplus to requirements these days. You know, Johnny Evans is ahead of him, Harry Maguire's ahead of him, Varane is, Martinez is. You could even argue that Willy Cambuala, the 19-year-old youth player, is potentially ahead of him at the moment. I think he might be, to be honest, in the centre back, position, and even even Luke Shaw's ahead of him in centre back, and Luke Shaw's a left back. So when you're Victor Lindelof, you've gone from being maybe a starting centre back under Ollie to being the 5th choice centre back, maybe even the 6th choice centre back. Obviously, first choice will be Varane and Martinez. Then you've got Maguire. Then you've got Johnny Evans. Then you've got Luke Shaw. Then you've got Willy Cambuala, and then you've got Victor Lindelof. He's the 7th choice centre back at the moment. 29 years of age. He'll be 30 by the time the transfer window opens. I think that's the perfect time to move him on. Personally, I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. His contract will expire in June 2025. So either we give him a new contract now or we sell him. I think if you're selling him to a Saudi club, you can probably get around 20 million. I think for him, that would be a fair price. Obviously, we paid a lot more back in the day for him, didn't we? I think we bought him from Benfica for around £30 million, 35 million euros it was. That was back in 2017. So, 7 years ago, he served us quite well. I never thought he was world class, to be honest, but, he won the League Cup with us. I think he was here when we won the Europa League as well, wasn't he? I think. Might have made that up. No, maybe he wasn't actually. I think we signed him in the summer where we won the Europa League. So yeah, the only trophy he's won at Manchester United is the League Cup, and I don't think he really even played in that competition. Obviously, when he was in Benfica, though, he won loads of trophies. He won the Portuguese League 3 times. He won the Portuguese League Cup 1 time, the Super Cup. So he did very, very well for Benfica, and hence why he got the big move to Man United. But I think he's one of the players that 100% needs to go in the summer, without a shadow of a doubt. Him and Maguire, for me, if you get 20 million for Lindelof and 30 million for Maguire, that's, 50 million straight back in the bank. That gets you John Claire Todibo. That gets you Edmund Tapsoba from Bayern Leverkusen. That gives you options. That's 50 million. And I would imagine by now we probably have paid off all of Lindelof's fee to Benfica, and we've probably paid off all of Maguire's fee to Leicester. So in relation to FFP, the FFP issues happen, right? So Anthony's a prime example of this. We paid, I think it was 95 million euros to Ajax, but it's staggered over the length of his contract. So we'll give them like 20 million euros a season, right? So to this point, we've probably only paid Ajax maybe like 30 or 40 million euros of the 95 million euros they're owed for Anthony. Which ultimately means, in the example of Anthony, if we were to sell him in the summer, right, and we've only paid off 40 million euros so far of the fee we owe Ajax, we still owe them 55 million. If we were to sell him for anything less than that, then it would really, really mess us up. So, we really, really need to start getting ruthless with these types of players like Lindelof, who do have some resale value. Don't let them run their contracts down. In the summer, you move them on, and, that's the end of it. But let me know what you guys think. Would you like to see Lindelof get another season at Man United? Or do you think, he should be moved on? For me, it's an absolute no-brainer. He has to go, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, You never, with Omar Barada, Jim Ratcliffe, like all of these new people, we are expecting ruthlessness. We are expecting some of these players who've been here for far too long to go, because that's why we're bringing these people in. So hopefully that starts to happen in the summer. So obviously that's the story about Victor Lindelof. Let's talk a little bit about Jeremy Frimpong then. And everyone who's just joined the video, please smash a like. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. Let's try and see 200 likes on today's video. So if you haven't done it already, click the like button. Brings more people into the channel, so there's no reason for you not to do it. Right, so Jeremy Frimpong. I just want to say from the off, right, I think Jeremy Frimpong would be an unbelievable signing for Manchester United. Somebody I really, really like. Obviously having an incredible season for Bayern Leverkusen. Looks like they will win the Bundesliga, if they continue the form that they're on. And I think he's ready to get that big move to a club like United. Obviously, he's Dutch as well. So if Erik ten Hag's still here, there's already that Dutch connection. And the story this afternoon is that apparently United are really heavily monitoring Jeremy Frimpong. This is coming out from Samuel Luckhurst. It's coming out from Fabrizio Romano, coming out from a couple of other journalists as well. And the really interesting thing with Jeremy Frimpong is he has a 40 million euros release clause, which is available in the summer. I mean, 40 million euros for Frimpong is an absolute bargain. I'm sorry, that's 34 million pounds. That's such a good deal if we could get that done. For 34 million pounds, like, that is unbelievable business. If I said to you, right, you could get Jeremy Frimpong for 34 million pounds, which is his release clause, and you could get Jean-Claude Todibo for maybe 30 million. Like, that could be part of our defence for the next kind of 5 to 10 years. Both of them are quite young. I think Frimpong's 24, is he? No, he's 23. So yeah, they could literally be here for the next, 5 to 10 years easily. Both of them, Jean-Claude Todibo and Jeremy Frimpong. So the thing is though, right, I feel like there's going to be a lot of interest in Frimpong. Obviously, the fact that he has this release clause of £34 million, there'll be lots and lots of teams who are really, really interested in him, because for that amount of money, like, that's a bargain. And you don't have to negotiate with Bayern Leverkusen because he has a release clause. Now, there is obviously the potential that he could sign a new contract with Bayern Leverkusen and they might remove that release clause. We do have to consider that might happen. But as it stands, the release clause is available from the summer onwards, 40 million euros or 34 million pounds. And for me personally, that's a deal that United have to go and do. But obviously you guys can let me know in the comment section. Would you like to see Jeremy Frimpong at Man United? Let me know. If you don't want to see him at Man United, let me know who you'd like instead. Like, I'm always interested to see what you guys have to say. Right, let's go into the live chat quickly. Comeback King says, when did Taremi go to Inter? Fabrizio said that he's gone Inter in the summer. I think Taremi's moving in at the end of this year as a free agent, mate. Yeah. Robbo says, Kieran, I hope Ineos are ruthless, getting good prices for the players like teams have stung Man United in the past. Yeah, 100%. Fran says, I would use Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Sancho in a Champions League final. I will keep them. I mean, fair enough. Obviously, that's your, that's your opinion. I mean, it's probably not shared with most people, but obviously that's completely fine. Football is about opinions, isn't it? Steve says, hopefully we get a good chunk for Lindelof, 30 to 40 million. Maybe. I mean, Saudi clubs do pay crazy money. I don't think personally they'll pay 30 to 40 million for Lindelof, but maybe I'm wrong. I would imagine he'll go for about 20, I reckon. Somewhere around 20 million. Obviously the Saudi clubs will give him crazy wages. I think he's the captain of Sweden, isn't he? So he's still going to get in the Swedish team regardless of whether he plays in England or Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure he is the Sweden captain now, isn't he? I might be wrong there, but I'm sure someone can let me know in the comment section who is the Swedish captain. I'm pretty sure it is Lindelof though. I don't know why I think that. I just have a feeling he is the captain. Let's have a look. Yeah, anyway, who knows? Chris says, I'm happy with Frimpong as long as we get another top centre-back with him. I'm sorry, but we can't rely on Martinez. I said that on the show a couple of weeks ago and people were saying, why are you being so negative about Martinez? But he has been injured a lot, I would really, really like Martinez to stay fit. And I said it on the show the other day, and I was more asking a question than making a statement. But I said, do you think that Martinez's aggressive style of play maybe contributes to why he's getting so many injuries? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe it isn't because of that. But like, you'd think it would. If somebody's doing something in a more aggressive manner, Like, you'd think that would then make the likelihood of injuries more. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think that's not very. I don't know. It was more of a question. It wasn't like a statement. It was a do you agree? Do you disagree? But yeah. Little bit of a bit of news here. I mean, people probably don't really care about this anymore, but the thing we have to remember is Jim Ratcliffe hasn't even got his 25% yet. And apparently it's unlikely to be approved this week by the Premier League, but it's expected either next week or the week after. So within the next couple of weeks, Jim Ratcliffe will officially own 25% of Man United. He still doesn't own 25% now. It hasn't been approved by the Premier League. So in the next couple of weeks, he will get that 25%. And then at that point, I expect us to kind of employ the director of football, more stuff to be announced. Obviously, we'd probably get an interview with Jim Ratcliffe, telling us what he's, planning on doing and all the rest of it. Because as it stands technically now, he hasn't bought the 25% yet. So I think that's why our January transfer window was so pathetic because, from what I'm hearing, their goal was to remove people and then focus on the summer. Yeah. Edwin says Martinez gets injured a lot because he plays with his heart. I like him so much. Yeah, Martinez is one of my favourite players, if not my favourite. I really, really like him. Chris says there were rumours on Friday that the Premier League aren't going to agree to the 25%. I've not seen anything about that, mate. Where did you see that? I'm happy to, if you can tell me where you read that, I'm happy to read it out, but I've not heard anything about that. I feel like it would be bigger news and there'd be more people talking about it if there was any truth in it, because I've not seen or heard that from anyone anywhere, whether that's on Twitter, whether that's on, I don't know, Sky Sports, Talk Sport, whatever. Nobody seems to be mentioning it. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Florian says, I think you're right about Martinez. He is using his aggressiveness to compensate his weaknesses. Yeah, that's potential. That is a possibility, yeah. I just to be very clear, Martinez is, in my opinion, our best centre-back. But the fact that he was injured for, 8 months, which was obviously unfortunate. He came back and then had the same injury again. Came back for, 2 games and now has just gone out again for, 2 or 3 months. At what point do we say this isn't a coincidence anymore? It can't just be bad luck constantly. Fran says, where is Malacia? Mate, Malacia is the biggest mystery ever. Nobody knows. Honestly, nobody knows. I've seen absolutely no, nobody knows what's wrong with Malacia. I'm seeing if I can find anything out about it now, but yeah, I mean, in December, so 2 months ago, on the official Man United website, it said that he's out with a knee injury. That was 2 months ago. But there's been nothing said since then, so who knows? Chris says it was a picture of Jim Ratcliffe leaving the league headquarters and not looking at all happy. It was on Twitter. I've not seen that, mate. Let me know where I can find it and I'll have a look. Florian says, what about Mason Mount? When's he coming back? Mate, I don't know with Mason Mount. I think he hasn't come back to training yet, so I would imagine we won't see Mason Mount for probably another 4 to 8 weeks, I reckon, personally. The fact that he's not even back in training yet, that it takes usually a couple of weeks, doesn't it, once they're back in training for them to actually, be back playing. I mean, I hope Mason Mount comes good because we invested a lot of money in him. I think, 60 million? And he's only played 627 minutes so far this season. I mean, that's literally the equivalent of about 5 or 6 matches. That is crazy, isn't it? A £60 million player, and he's only played 5 whole games worth of minutes this season. In the Premier League, he's only played 400 minutes this season. That's the equivalent of 4 games. So bad, isn't it? He's played in the League Cup and the Champions League a bit as well. Yeah. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Somebody says, what happened to the situation between Greenwood and Jude Bellingham? I don't know, mate. I think it got completely blown out of proportion, that. Fran says Malacia and Martinez were good in their first 6 months. I'm not going to lie to you. I've never really rated Malacia. I've always thought he was pretty average. I think Martinez is levels above Malacia. Yeah. Fred says, how serious do you think Shaw's injury is? I'll be honest with you, mate. There's been no stories whatsoever about Luke Shaw's injury. Is that a good thing? Maybe it is a good thing, that we haven't heard anything really, really bad about it. Obviously, it was only yesterday. And they do always say, that they usually wait about 48 hours to really see the extent of an injury. I think Luke Shaw is going to be out for a while, to be honest with you. Like, he always gets injured. And when he gets injured, he'll be out for 3 or 4 games. Like, he's not the kind of player who, like a Bruno Fernandes, he might look a bit injured and then he'll play the next game. Luke Shaw's just not that type of player. I think a lot of these players as well will be thinking about the Euros. Obviously, Luke Shaw will be the starting left back for England at the Euros in the summer. I'm not saying he's purposely being injured, but I'm saying that I don't know how to say this without. But like his interest is probably going to be in making sure he's 100% fit for the Euros, realistically, Man United effectively are playing for top 4 and playing for the FA Cup, which is still like, a lot to play for. But I don't know. I just have this feeling that he's not going to be rushed back. I feel like they're going to take their time with him because in the back of their head, they're going to be thinking, not so much Man United, but himself, and his team are going to be thinking, well, he's going to be starting for England at the Euros. He's the first choice. We need to make sure he's like fit and available. But yeah, maybe I'm just overlooking that. See what else people are saying in the chat. Fedja says, Arsenal signed Jurrien Timber. What happened to him? He had an ACL injury, mate. Yeah, he had an ACL injury. Adi Yatta says, shouldn't United be signing a left back instead of a right back? My understanding of it is that Wan-Bissaka will be sold. Obviously, he's a right back. And then obviously Diogo Dalot can play right back or left back. Yeah, so I think that would then give us options. I do agree with you. The left back situation at the moment is worrying, but if Wan-Bissaka was fit, you could have Wan-Bissaka at right back and Dalot at left back, and that would work fine. But obviously, Wan-Bissaka's injured as well at the moment. Our injuries are quickly piling up again. Luke Shaw's out, Malacia's out, Mason Mount's out, Wan-Bissaka's out, Martinez is out. I mean, that's 5 of our first team players are out at the moment, which is really, really worrying, to be honest. Robbo says, Kieran, Man United should be having a world-class medical department, stop signing injured players. Yeah, I mean, it's a disgrace, mate. It really, really is. Absolute disgrace. And they did actually sack the other day the head of physio a couple of days ago, I think it was. So they are trying to make changes there, and hopefully we can improve on that, because you've seen the stats with Man City when they don't have Rodri. Like, they're a completely different side. And for some reason we just seem to have injuries all the time. Yeah, I think that's everything we've got planned for the show this evening though, guys. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. as usual. Do make sure to get in the comments section once the video goes live and let me know about Lindelof and Frimpong. I hope everyone has a good evening. This has been Daily Red Devil. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe before you go, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.